Hello again, everybody. Welcome once more to Powerline Weekly Video Ministry. This is Richard Ike, and we're on episode number 164. And I'll be getting back to the Female Champions of the Bible series. I took a break for last week to give a Christmas message. So now we're going to be on Female Champions of the Bible, part 31. And I'm going to be dealing with Queen Athaliah. This was the first time Israel had a female reigning monarch, sole reigning monarch. Jezebel reigned with Ahab. She came in with Ahab, but Queen Athaliah took the throne by herself by force. And it's going to be quite an interesting story. Some theologians speculate that Athaliah was actually Jezebel's daughter, and I tend to lean that way because of her behavior. She was definitely spiritual daughter, even a physical daughter. She was definitely a spiritual daughter of Jezebel. Uh, 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 I tend to lean that with the way she ended, the way she came in with destruction, the way her life ended. I said, this is a picture of Jezebel. The Bible has lots of patterns that repeat themselves. I saw a Jezebel pattern there. But anyway, before I get to that, I haven't had an addendum in a while, and when my aunties complained about it that she wasn't too big on politics, so I let her know that God is into politics. Politics is in the Bible, especially the Old Testament. Old Testament's a highly political section of the Bible. Very political. You want to know about politics? Study the Old Testament. Well, now, addendum 1, 1A. And the reason I had to give this addendum because this matter is very crucial. It's something that I've seen how these things work and how people are oblivious to it. And it's starting to overwhelm me. It has to do with social engineering. And this is an area where the liberal leftists, the Democratic Party, are experts. But now, the children are being heavily demonized. And I know exactly what is happening, how they're doing, their strategy being used. They now have books, publication. At first, I got alerted by some lady that's called, she's nicknamed, for my name. Her name is Elizabeth Johnston, but she's called something, like something mommy, the protest mommy, something like that. She has some nickname. And she put up an image of a book called the Children's Book of Demons. It shook me. I had a demonic face that's like a cartoon character. It shook me. They're writing books for demons, for children. And upon investigation, that Walmart was carried. Upon investigation, it turns out that there was over 250 books, the books on demons for children. My nerves were racked. What is happening? Social engineering. Social engineering is invisible to the naked eye. Why? Because they keep the adults busy pursuing career, pursuing money, pursuing all that stuff, but they target the children because the children are the next generation. What happens? Add 15 years, you have imagine adults. They now think different from the previous generation. And the previous generation wonder what happened. Like the millennials, they're all into socialism. What happened? If you see that they're collectively all together thinking in a specific way, doing a certain thing, social engineering has gone to work. And the liberals are masters at this. Lord revealed to me that after the Democrats lost the war in the Civil War, they kind of abandoned the traditional strategies of conflict. They lost that. They now took the battlefield, began learning how to take the battlefield from the physical realm into the mental realm, how to fight mental battles. Because they won the war in culture, the war in society. They lost the Civil War, but they won the war in society. Because society, after Then Abraham Lincoln, the Republican president, got assassinated. Democratic president Andrew Johnson took over. He began to revive the ancient spirit of racism that had died off after the Civil War, and it give birth to lay the foundation for segregation, Ku Klux Klan, Jim Crow laws, lynching, all that stuff. Those became battlefields of the mind. Mm-hmm. They started to specialize in that arena. And guess what? Satan is standing on the mountain there, on that battlefield of the mind. That's this ancient battlefield. Mm-hmm. So in the days of the garden, so you enter that arena, you find Satan there. That's where he fights, the battlefield of the mind. Mm-hmm. So they learned of taking them long time, century to master the skills on how to socially engineer. That's why you find the liberals, they control every avenue that has to do with the mind, whether it's media, whether it's education, whether it's music, sports, entertainment, all this, and they're controlled by liberals. They want to control the mind. Mm-hmm. And that's why they feel like they can instruct us, tell everybody what to do, even conservatives, say whatever to, they feel like they're supposed to be instructed because they've been doing it without everybody knowing, even conservatives knowing that they're being social engineered. Mm-hmm. Every single trend you can think of started by liberals. Mm-hmm. Social media, liberals. Selfies, liberals. Any trend started by liberals. Instagram, Facebook, you name it, all liberal technology. Mm-hmm. Hashtags, GIFs, memes, anything that's called a trend is started by liberals. Mm-hmm. And that's all part of social engineering tools. Mm-hmm. How does this connect? The same thing that is happening with the same way we're being social engineered, not knowing. The children are being social engineered because Satan wants to come out into the open. Mm-hmm. But there has to be a generation that's ready to receive him. So they're demonizing the children now in their youth. So at the time they become adults, the occult will be normal for them. Now the people are saying, why come the millennials are all into socialism? The next will be, how come these young children, the next generation of adults, how come they're all into Satanism? How come Satanism is getting popular? Devil worship is getting popular. That's what's happening. There's social engineering going on at this level. Mm-hmm. The elite are devil worshippers. I know this for a long time. So now their master wants to come out. So they're social engineering them to bend them to make so that the occult will now become normal from about 5 years old. That's what this transgender story hour is all about. The image of the devil, if you go and investigate, you find that more than half of them will be devil worshippers. Those transgender, those people involved in transgender story hour, those transgenders. Mm-hmm. The image of the devil that devil worshippers use is a transgender called Baphomet. Has a good head, good legs, female breasts, and male genitals. When they made the statue of it, they made it a male, but actually it has female breasts and male genitals. Mm-hmm. So they're now getting them, the young children, acquainted and comfortable with the image of half man, half woman. So when they become adults and they now unleash the image of the devil, the Baphomet, which is the image that the devil worshippers use, they will, instead of feeling repelled by it, they'll feel comfortable. Remind them, oh, those nice transgenders, I used to read those stories when we were kids. Those will be their sweet childhood memories, things of that nature. Mm-hmm. There's one book called Baphomet and Friends, made the devil look like a cartoon character, and even had another one had books that give children how demonic invocation. They want children to start invoking demons. Hi. Hey, my goodness gracious me, to think about these things. That is happening here in America. Hi! Africa are not even bold enough to do that one. In Africa. No, they're not bold enough to do that one. It shocked me. So they're social engineering, and the parents don't even know what's happening. Completely blind. Just go career and money and buy next house and next car. Don't know their children's minds are being submitting their children to people who program them with a totally different mind frame that will contract, that will even war against their parents' generation. And with the thing with millennials and socialism, they're talking about, oh, the medical system has to be reformed. On account of one aspect, you want to change the entire government that affects every other aspect. You haven't even evaluated what the consequences are.
Just the medical field. So go from one extreme to the other. The medical field is reformed. Now you want things to come that socialism that affects everything. Older generation that have taught these millennials, talk some sense into them. The older generation that have seen history, that saw the Berlin Wall come down, all that stuff. Because they will get themselves into a mess, find out that they are in bondage. And not only would it affect the older generation, but it's the older generation they will run to rescue them because they can't rescue themselves. And the older generation will feel obligated to fight for them because they are the future. But they don't have any sense now. Say, hey, socialism. Oh, the medical, on account, I keep hearing the medical, on account of one aspect, you want to give up everything else. Not know the domino effect. Oh, my goodness. I talk sometimes. Let this do this thing. Everything now. Oh, the elites. One thing about the elites. Now people should know about this because the days we talk about stuff, they used to call it the conspiracy theory. No longer conspiracy theory. It's all out in the open now. These elites are behind this thing doing manipulating and affecting the lives of everybody from behind the scenes. Their ultimate plan is not of the benefit of mankind. No. Really, they want to kill off most of the Earth's population. It's written on stone, the Georgia Guidestones. They want to reduce the Earth's population to 500 million. So that means they want 6.5 billion people gone from the Earth. In the days when I read about this thing, 30 years ago, 20, 30 years ago, I used to read about their plans. I didn't think they could pull it off. But now, seeing the things that they wrote back then happening, I take everything seriously. Whatever future plans they have, I take it seriously because now I know how they execute it. They social engineer from behind the scene, invisible to naked eye. It will be happening in the midst of everybody and nobody knows what's happening. So, and I began to understand why they even put it down. The promotion of homosexuality to reduce, they want to reduce the Earth's population. So that's why they are pushing LGBT and fighting for LGBT. It's all a mission to cut down the Earth's population. So in one generation, if LGBT explodes, in one generation, half the Earth will be gone. So now figure out how to get rid of the other 3 billion. 3.5 billion gone because they don't reproduce. LGBT don't reproduce. Let's figure out how to get rid of the other 3.5 billion. Maybe poison them, whatever. Poison the food, whatever. So now I see their plans. I said, okay, the ones that they planned way back then is happening now. So their future plans, they're going to execute. We're just in a more, I don't trying to sound discouraging, but we're in the era of the Trumps. It's not only going to be Donald Trump. It's an era of relief and the postponement of disaster, postponement of judgment, postponement of things. I don't know how long to last. Maybe it will give us 30 years of grace, the Trump eras, 30 years of grace. But it's written in the Bible that eventually it will happen, and it's after Lord Jesus has come taking his people. But until then, he'll keep frustrating their plans. That's why Donald Trump got elected. It was God frustrating their plans. They were saying, Hillary's going to manage, you want to go when God stepped in and frustrated their plans. But one thing funny about them is that the elites, they always say what they're going to do before they do it. I don't understand that. I said, are they trying to be prophets? And then they found out that they have an esoteric belief system that leads them to conclude that by saying what they're going to do before they do it, the consequences doesn't come back to them. There's a scripture for that. In thinking themselves wise, they have become fools. Because once the tactic is known, is blown. The devil that they worship also operates that way. Once he hears a plan, now he knows he can start going to abort the plan. That's why God hides things from man so that the devil won't know. But then they're going to reveal so that the consequence will come back to them. So when it's revealed, the true believers will go to war in the spirit, prayer and fasting to block the plan, all that stuff. So now that I know the plans, I prayed, I fasted 5 days for Donald Trump's election. No food, no water. Because I know the plans. That's okay, now I have prayer points. Their belief system that they tell it, then the consequence will come to them. The scripture, I don't know, in thinking myself why they become fools, they are letting their strategies be known. Okay, now we know how to counter it in the spirit. Anyway, I'll I've gotten all that out. I didn't mean to go this long with it, but the part of the children where they're now demonizing them. Take your children out of public schools. Private schools and homeschooling, they should now start coming into play. Because public schools just liberal left it indoctrination ground. You parents don't even have a clue what they're putting in the minds of these children. Even in the colleges, they send their children to college, they now return and their minds they've been brainwashed and all that and just fill their heads with junk. And when they get themselves into trouble, it's the older generation, the parent generation, that be running to go and rescue them from the mess. Socialism, communism. We won't teach them the history about it. We won't teach them anything of the background, nothing. Just don't know they send them off for a trap to take them captive. It's governments that will take them captive. Anyway, let me get into the message before I consume the stamps. Consume time. No, this political issue. Just too much. Too much. Can't let children be children any longer. They have to sexualize them, demonize them. I said, my goodness. I don't even know the mind frame of the millennials. Talk about these young children coming up. What are they going to be thinking when they become adults? I said, Lord, hey, books showing them how to invoke demons. All right, let me jump into Atalia. As I was saying, she was the first queen. Her story is found. Her story occurs twice, but I'm taking the one from 2 Kings chapter 11. She was the first queen that was the sole monarch in Israel. So she deserved mention. She was not a good, not I won't say good guy, but she's a woman. Yeah, she was not the hero. She's not the hero. No, she was the villain. She was a Jezebel type, but because she was the first, it was worthy of mention. No, the world only remembers the first, doesn't remember the second. The reason Natalia's story is not known is because she's the second wicked queen of Israel. But she deserves mention because she was the first female queen to be a sole monarch. She took the throne herself. The only time Israel had a queen and no king. The queen that ascended the throne. But the world only remembers the first, never the second. The world remembers the first man that went to space, Yuri Gagarin, even though the truth of the matter, Vladimir Ilyushin was the first one to go into first from the Russians sent to space. He crash landed in China and they took him prisoner. 5 days later, they sent Yuri Gagarin to cover for him. I saw the interview. He was a very important man, a heavyweight. His family is heavyweight in Russian elite. Ilyushin. His father owned the company that built Russian commercial aircraft, commercial jetliners and stuff. He betrayed his father, went and worked for the competition. I think it was Sukhoi or MiG, one of those companies. But he was very accomplished in Russian aviation. So he had a big, high, heavyweight. So when they sent him up and he crash landed in China instead of Russia, they took him captive. They tried to cover it, so they sent Yuri Gagarin. The only thing that qualified for Yuri Gagarin, he had good looks and he was articulate. He hadn't done anything, accomplished anything in Russian aviation, nothing at all, just articulate and good looking. So okay, we send him. 5 days later, they sent him, and then he landed in Russia. He said, the first man that went into space. They covered up the Vladimir Ilyushin story about a year and a half later. The Chinese, this thing, whatever agreement the Russians made with him. But I watched the documentary. The Russian government kept denying it. They make up one story here, another story, another story. The Chinese didn't want to talk at all. So the Western was trying to figure out, we have evidence that you sent somebody out into space and they try to cover it. Okay, we have his name, Vladimir Ilyushin. He was in hospital. Okay, if he was in hospital, how come this? So covered it up. Yuri Gagarin. No wonder Yuri Gagarin became a drunkard. Because he couldn't handle the pressure of knowing the truth. But history records him as the first man in space. So that's the one that people remember. The guy, Vladimir Ilyushin, I think he's still alive. When they gave him an interview, he showed his family museum where they had all the planes, models of all the planes his family had built and all that stuff. But he neither confirmed nor denied. I said, yep, he did it. He was the first man in space. That's how the elites are. They want to beat around the bush. They won't either confirm or deny. They won't say yes I was, and they won't say no I was not. So just kind of just beat around the bush. Ask me a question, just go for a swim, beat around the bush. I said yes, that's a great strategy. Yeah, he was the first man in space. Yeah. Right. The world only remembers the first. Okay, first man in space. For the sake of historical records, even though it's fictional. Yuri Gagarin, I told Russians this. I was the Russian pilots. The guy, one of them, he said, "Hey, my name is Yuri. I was named after him." I said, "Go and investigate, find out about Vladimir Ilyushin. He was the first one your government sent into space." They tried to cover his story because he crashed landed. They didn't want Russia just hiding his failures. So the guy crashed in China. They covered it up. 5 days later, sent up Yuri Gagarin to cover for Vladimir Ilyushin. Yeah. Going back, the world remembers the first. First man on the moon, Neil Armstrong, celebrated. One small step for a man, one giant leap for mankind. Second man on the moon, that was right behind him, was Buzz Aldrin. Who cares? He was climbing down. Neil Armstrong took a picture of him climbing. Who cares? First man to break the sound barrier, Chuck Yeager. Hey, broke the sound barrier. Second man to break the sound barrier. Who cares? Hey, whoever does anything first, the world celebrates. The second man, nobody cares. Everybody celebrates the first, the world will recognize the first. Nobody cares about the second. So because Jezebel was the first wicked queen, everyone knows her. The second wicked queen, Natalia, nobody knows her. Nobody cares. But she's the first soul monarch, first female soul monarch. That's okay. She has the first attached to her. This is what they mentioned. So, let's see how much time I got. Here goes her story. Let's read it right quick. She began her career like this. Her career is going. And when Natalia, the mother of Ahaziah, saw that her son was dead, she arose and destroyed all the seed royal. This is her intro. She destroyed all, when she saw her son was dead, she destroyed all the seed, all the royal seed, all the ones who are potential heirs to the throne. Where did she learn this thing? For Ahaziah was killed by, in the previous chapter, he was killed by Jehu, whom God had anointed to destroy the house of Ahab, which he did. Now, this idea, this whole concept of killing the royal, it's not something that she came up with herself. It happened in the previous chapter. That's the backstory. Jehu had 70 of Ahab's sons beheaded, those who were heirs to the throne after. No, he was one that had Jezebel killed, who supposedly Atalia's mother. Some theologians speculate. Had the eunuch threw her out the window, and she fell to her death. And she fell among horses. She got trampled, and then dogs ate her flesh. Now, Ahaziah, after Atalia, Jehu had killed Ahaziah, this woman's son. And when Atalia, the mother of Ahaziah, saw that her son was dead, she arose and destroyed all the seed royal. And I'm left wondering, was it out of vengeance because her son was dead, or was it a seized opportunity? Who knows? But that's definitely the spirit of Jezebel. But Jezebel slew the prophets of the Lord to the extent that Obadiah, one of Ahab's general, had to hide prophets in caves and give them bread and water daily so that Jezebel doesn't kill them. So that's definitely the spirit of Jezebel. Slay competition. Because the prophets of God were competing with her and her prophet. The prophets of Baal ate from Jezebel's table. So they were like family members to her. She didn't want competition to kill the prophets of God. So when the prophets of Baal speak, the prophets of God will come and counter. Because that's what was probably happening. The prophets of Baal will prophesy by the spirits of their God, the demon, they worship Baal. And then they'll come, the prophets of God will come and counter it. The showdown upon Mount Carmel, Elijah put the prophets of Baal to shame and their God, because they were doing their ritual, cutting themselves and bleeding. The same thing that you see some aspect of the Muslims do, where they're cutting themselves. That's not something that came with Islam. No, that was, it's been thousands of years old. The prophets of Baal used to do that. They cut themselves till they bled. The story of Elijah, the story on Mount Carmel with the prophets of Baal. They cut themselves, trying to invoke the power of their God. God didn't show up because God Almighty has showed up. And when God Almighty shows up, everything else flees. In the book of Revelation, John said, behold, I saw a great white throne and him that sat upon it, before whose presence heaven and earth fled, and there was no place found for them. When God showed up, no place to run, no place to hide. So those are the prophets that Jezebel had with her. The prophets of God were the disturbance to them. So he tried to get rid of them so that they can comfortably go about their business and do their things. But the whole tradition, this certain sect of Islam, where they're cutting themselves, with knives, bleeding and all that stuff, that comes from Baal worship. The Baal worshippers did that thousands of years old. Okay, move on. It says, and then the verse 2 says, but Jehoshaphat, the daughter of King Joram, sister of Ahaziah, took Joash, the son of Ahaziah, and stole him from among the king's sons, which were slain. Bible says, with every temptation, God make it a doorway of escape, so that we're able to bear upon the right. She had killed off the royal seeds, but God made a doorway of escape. Or some say the ram in the bush, using Abraham's principle. So it was the ram in the bush, and that was one that God spared. But Jehoshaphat, the daughter of King Joram, sister of Ahaziah, took Joash, the son of Ahaziah, and stole him from among the king's sons, which were slain, and they hid him, even him and his nurse, in the bed chamber from Athaliah, so that he was not slain. The sister of the slain Ahaziah, Jehoshaphat, took his son and went and hid him and his nurse in her bed chamber, because nobody will come to inspect her bed chamber. And next verse, and he was with her hid in the house of the Lord 6 years. She was with her, and he was with her hid in the house of the Lord 6 years. Oh, they took him from the bed chamber and took him to the house of the Lord. And Athaliah did reign over the land for 6 years. This child was hidden in the house of God. And in the 7th year, Jehoiada sent and fetched the rulers over 107, the number of completion. In the 7th year, Jehoiada sent and fetched the rulers over hundreds with captains and the guards, and brought them to him into the house of the Lord, and made a covenant with them, and took an oath of them in the house of the Lord, and showed them the king's son. First brought them in and entered into covenant with them, and took an oath with them. They are making covenant and taking oath, and they didn't inquire at first, what are we making covenant and taking oath for? These men are hard. I can't do that. Say, I want to make a covenant that what you're about to see, you're not going to reveal. Say, no, you have to reveal it to me first, and I make an agreement with you. I'm not going to reveal, because I might not want to see it. What's this all about? Well, they entered covenant first before it was revealed unto them. They didn't know. They entered covenant, they took an oath. So take an oath that you will not reveal what you see here. Say, that depends on what you're about to show me. Show me first, and I decide if I take an oath. But that's just me. And he commanded them, saying, this the thing that ye shall do. A third part of you that enter in on the Sabbath shall even be keepers of the watch of the king's house. They've now entered themselves a covenant. That's the time of the age of honor. When people entered covenant, it's something they took seriously, something even heaven took seriously. Now, those things are simple, but there's no longer living in the age of honor where these things mattered. The moment today, one of the covenant is contract. People break contract all the time. Why they have to here, sign here, where did that come from? That comes from covenant. The signing, that's your seal, that is on the covenant, on the agreement. I think because it's not easy to get into covenants or contracts, that's why people break them so easily. But then it was a serious matter. It was life and death matter. When you enter into covenant and break it, it could cost you your life. So they took this thing seriously. And it wasn't death by ease, it wasn't smooth death. No, it was death by the sword. Now today, just shoot the person and they die. Then there was no gun, it was by a sword. So it was very uncomfortable. And he commanded them, saying, this is the thing that ye shall do. A third part of you that enter in on the Sabbath shall even be keepers of the watch of the king's house. And the third part shall be at the gate of the soul, and the third part at the gate behind the guard. So shall ye keep watch of the house, that it be not broken down. So now that it has been revealed that the king's son is alive, okay, now you all have to stand guard. Because they didn't trust that the city was going to be kept. So, okay, I have to now stand guard and watch. So that nobody breaks in. And two parts of you that go forth on the Sabbath, even they shall keep the watch of the house of the Lord about the king. So now the house of God acquired guards when they didn't have guards before, because they are protecting the king. And he shall compass the king round about, every man with his weapons in his hand. And he that cometh within the ranges, let him be slain. So you will now surround the king. Anyone that comes close to him, kill that person. And be ye with the king as he goeth out, as he cometh in. You'll be around him all the time. Personal bodyguards. And the captains over the hundreds did according to all things that Jehoiada the priest commanded. And they took every man his men that were to come in on the Sabbath, with them that should go out on the Sabbath, and came to Jehoiada the priest. These priests were warriors. These are priests of the priests of those days. The priests like this man, Jehoiada, is a warrior. And now I have a lot of, I don't even know how to describe the way, I'm not just me, the way the Lord is presenting to me, the Gentile church. I using the term, he's been for a while, been using that term with me, the Gentile churches, as if he's separating himself. The less we resemble the Jewish roots, the book of Acts, and the more Lord is, the less we resemble the book of Acts, the more Lord is separating himself. That's what I'm saying. There's too much corruption that the powers of darkness are infiltrated. So many tears. So they've laid foundations. The generation coming up, they don't even know what the real, they don't know the heritage of Christianity. Here in the West, the heritage of Christianity, they don't know. Those things are not taught them. So it's like they're strangers. Those who recognize them, they don't know the God of the Bible. No, those who recognize them. With all sincerity, they don't recognize them. Use that time, the Gentile church. I saw a video. This one had to do with Africa. I was so disturbed. Lord ministered to me. He said, that's why the fires of Islam is raging against the Gentile churches. When they see this thing, that's what I'm seeing. They say the Muslims see it. So that's why their fires are raging against the Gentile churches. And they go and take it out on the innocent ones that had nothing to do with all the madness. Like I said, this preacher, Jehoiada, the man, because obviously was a warrior, issuing command, giving instruction, and the soldiers obeying because they know they're talking to an authority. And to the captains over hundreds did the priest give King David spear and shield that were in the temple of the Lord. So they're now going forth in the spirit of David. I wonder if he had King Saul's spear and shield. The Bible is the only place where the second is celebrated over the first. That's the only place. Saul was the first king of Israel. It's forgotten. David is the one that's celebrated. The Bible calls the Lord Jesus the last Adam, or the second Adam, or last Adam. The first Adam was of the order. The last Adam, as you say, was a life-giving spirit. It's the Lord Jesus that celebrated over Adam. He's the last Adam, or the second Adam. He's the one celebrated over the first. We don't celebrate the first Adam. Do we celebrate the day of the creation of Adam? No, we celebrate the day of the birth of the Lord Jesus. We have a day, December 25th, the birth of the Lord Jesus. Is there a day to celebrate the creation of Adam? No, it's forgotten. The Bible is the only place where the second is celebrated over the first. We have Old and New Testament. The New Testament came second. Which one do we celebrate? The New Testament. Old Testament, yeah, we accept it, but in the New Testament we celebrate. We say, oh, that's the Old Testament. We are now in the New Testament. It's the only place where the second is celebrated over the first. In the world, the first is celebrated. Second, everything else, nobody cares about. The Bible, that's one place where the second will be celebrated over the first. So, Brother King David's spear and shield What about Saul? From the Bible, the second and be celebrated over the first. Saul was the first king. No, not Saul. The greatest one was David. And the guard stood every man with his weapons in his hand, and about the king, from the right corner of the temple to the left corner of the temple, along by the altar and the along by the altar and the temple. And they brought forth the king's son and put the crown upon him and gave him the testimony, and they made him king and anointed him. And they clapped their hands and said, God save the king. In other words, much time I got, okay, when God has preordained something that he wants to execute, he will guard that thing with vigilance. There's when his perfect will has manifested on a situation, he will guard it with absolute vigilance. Or the human forces and angelic forces will be on alert concerning that matter. When God has decided something, has chosen something and made up his mind, okay, this one is going to be executed, his perfect will. It will be guarded with full, complete vigilance, both in the physical and the spiritual realm. So this was a preordained situation. That's why the priest put them on full alert, and they too complied to stay on full alert. What happened next? And clapped their hands and said, God save the king. Then Athaliah comes back into the picture. And when Athaliah heard the noise of the guard and of the people, she came to the people into the temple of the Lord. She heard noise. What's commotion? Crowd attracts crowd. What's all that noise about? What's going on? What's happening? She came. And when she looked, behold, the king stood by a pillar, as the manner was, and the princes and the trumpeters by the king. And all the people of the land rejoiced and blew with trumpets. And Athaliah rent her clothes and cried, treason, treason. They were giving the boy a coronation. They didn't inform her. She didn't get any invitation. Coronation without invitation. So she had the commotion. What's going on? Oh, she's the queen. She's the ruler of the land. What is happening in her territory? And she doesn't know what's going on. What's going on? What's going on? She ran and saw a king with a crown on his head. She was crazy. She stole her garment. In the ancient Hebrew tradition, when they do that, that means that's like the worst has happened. When the Lord Jesus, when they asked him during his trial, so tell us now, are you the Son of God? And he said, it is as you say, the high priest rent his garment. Do you have any other reason to accuse him? Blasphemy. I said, she took her garment like this, the worst that could happen. Treason. But Jehoiada the priest commanded the captain of the hundreds and the officers of the host, and said unto them, have I fought without the ranges, and him that followed her kill with the sword? But the priest has said, let her not be slain in the house of God. Let her not be slain in the house of God. And they laid hands on her, and she went by the way by which the horses came into the king's house, and there was she slain. And they laid hands on her, and she went by the way by which the horses came into the king's house, and there she was slain. When I heard the horses, she was slain by the horses came in, I said, that sounds familiar. Went back to Jezebel, which was 2 chapters earlier. How did Jezebel die? Jezebel in 2 Kings chapter 9, and at the ending. Okay, let me start from 30. And when Jehu was come to Jezebel heard it, and she painted her face and tied her head and looked out at the window. So all that heavy makeup thing, that's a sign of the spirit of Jezebel, spirit of rebellion against authority of God, against authority, period. The man was coming to kill her. The first thing that came to her mind is to put on makeup, look good. Makeup. She's about to die. So let me look good before I die. Oh, Jezebel spirit. And Jehu, as Jehu entered in at the gate, she said, had Zimri priest who slew his master. Let me read it down. Okay, had Zimri priest who slew his master. and lifted up his face to the window and said, Who is on my side? Who? And they looked out to him 2 or 3 eunuchs. And he said, Throw her down. So they threw her down. This was unexpected. These are the ones who were supposed to be guarding her. Now they're on the side of Jehu. She thought she was safe with her eunuchs. He said, Who's on my side? Who? They stuck out their head. Said, Throw her down. Then her own bodyguards threw her down. See how God can flip situations on the enemies of his people. And he said, Throw her down. So they threw her down, and some of her blood was sprinkled on the wall and on the horses. And they threw her on the foot. On the horses. I went back here. Said, okay, see, that's a pattern emerging here. And Jehoiada commanded, they laid hands on her, and she went by the way by which the horses came into the king's house, and there was she slain. Bible is full of patterns. I saw this pattern and said, yeah, she's Jezebel's daughter, all right. Like mother, like daughter. Mother was killed, she fell where the horses were, she died. This one was killed with the same part where the horses go. The horse thing, I said, yeah. As an evidence there that no, that was Jezebel's daughter. At least spiritually, but most likely physically, Jezebel's daughter. Okay, in the roundup. Yeah. And Jehoiada made a covenant between the Lord and the king and the people that they should be the Lord's people, between the king also and the people. And all the people of the land went into the house of Baal and break it down, his altars and his images break they in pieces thoroughly, and slew Matan the priest of Baal. Baal, Jezebel's god. So if she wasn't physically Jezebel's daughter, she was spiritually Jezebel's daughter, because she was a Baal worshipper. She was furnishing Baal worship. Jehu dealt with Baal worship. Israel had been divided at this time. So Jehu dealt with Baal worship in Israel. That's the southern kingdom. The northern kingdom is Judah. This is now Athaliah reigning in Judah. Now, Baal worship had ended in Israel, but it was still going on in Judah. So now this situation was taking place to end Baal worship in Judah, the other side of the kingdom. And all the people of the land went in unto the house of Baal and break it down. His altars and his images break they in pieces thoroughly, and slew Matan the priest of Baal before the altars. And the priest appointed officers over the house of the Lord. And he took the rulers over hundreds, and the captains and the guards, and all the people of the land. And they brought down the king from the house of the Lord, and came by the way of the gate of the guard, came by the way of the gate of the guard to the king's house. And he sat on the throne of the kings, and all the people of the land rejoiced, and the city was in quiet. So the city was in quiet. That means the city was troublesome. The city was disquieted while Athaliah was reigning. Because you can't have a woman like that reign. She came with destruction. When you come with destruction, you can't have peace with a woman like that. So the city was quiet. That means it was noisome and disquieted while she reigned. They sowed and reaping. She sowed into destruction. She reaped her own destruction. And they slew Athaliah with the sword beside the king's house. 7 years old was Jehoash when he began to reign. 7, number of God. We arrive at that number again. 7, completion. And all the people of the land rejoiced, and the city was quiet. May the Lord quiet the noise of the enemies in and around our lives, in the name of Jesus Christ. With that, I conclude the story of Athaliah. And I'll say, all right, close in prayer. Oh, great God, Almighty King Jehovah, I thank you for the word that has gone forth. I pray that you find the word they had, be planted as seed and bring forth fruit, and the fruit shall remain, in the mighty name of Jesus Christ. Blessed be God now forevermore. And as the heavens agree, I say, amen. I love you. God just loves you. And I'll see you next week.